What's going on, people? Uncle Nick here. I wanted to go over something I saw very frequently at nationals during the log and overhead press, something I see with a lot of athletes here at Never State as a coach, and just with overhead pressing in general. Now, when I say overhead press, we are going to talk push pressing with leg drive. And it's not the actual press. You've all heard me harp on open the window, put your head through, drive to the back of your head. That is a lot simpler to fix than this. This seems to be a big lingering issue or something that takes longer to iron out the wrinkles with than the actual press itself or even the clean. But what I'm going to talk to you about is actually the front rack position and the leg drive. They go hand in hand. Now, the biggest thing I see is people sink. And that is a huge no-no. You're losing horsepower and you're more likely to drive the bar out front versus over your head. The first step to eliminating that sink is actually with your knee drive. So you've heard me or Brian probably say this, you drive your knees outward. You don't want to drive them forward because when they go forward, you'll either sink forward with them or you'll sink back, and then when you drive, you'll come forward with your chest and throw the implement out front. Now this goes for a barbell, an axle, a log, anything you're push pressing overhead, a bicycle, a dog. That's what you're into. Don't overhead press dogs. Probably won't like it. Unless you have like a chihuahua. This is going down a wrong street quick. I don't condone overhead pressing animals. Back on track. It doesn't matter what you're overhead pressing. Your leg drive and your front rack needs to be the same. Now the main cues are driving your knees out, keeping your elbows and chest high. Especially with something like a log, your elbows need to be really high. That log should be essentially jammed up in the crutch of your throat. Right around here. Right in here. I got some padding, so when the log's there, doesn't choke me out. I got a choke guard or a log guard. Got a mud flap. God, I'm stupid. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't be able to see anything but the ceiling with the log. With the axle and bar, it's pretty much the same. You want it in the meat of your fingers, not fingertips, not in the meat of your palm, right here. That first knuckle joint in the actual fingers themselves, right in this area. And that's the throw and catch. But your elbows need to stay high on the leg drive. Your chest needs to stay high on the leg drive. When you leg drive and sink, that's where the issues occur. Your elbows sink, your chest sinks, everything follows suit. That implement is going out front, and you're literally losing pounds in the process by doing so. So the first thing I want you guys to start out with is really practicing your leg drive. Do it with no weight. Do it with anything. When you squat or deadlift, what do? You drive your knees outward. You avoid that knee collapsing and pushing your knees past your toes. It's the same thing for an overhead press. It's just a little harder because your mind's thinking about pressing versus thinking about leg driving. At least that's how it was with when I first started. I was so focused on the press that the leg drive had to come second. Grab a PVC pipe or a barbell, whatever you guys want, and put it in the front rack position. Then practice driving your knees to the outside of your feet, almost kind of rolling your feet to the outwardmost edge of your foot. Not actually rolling on the edge of your feet, just putting a little bit more pressure there so you get the feeling of those knees going outward. Your leg drive isn't going to be deep. It's literally going to be maybe a quarter squat because it needs to be hard and fast. It needs to be a very explosive movement to get the most amount of power from your leg drive into the bar so you can throw and catch. Some food for thought is before you do your set, grab that barbell, grab that PVC pipe, grab the axle, whatever you guys are using, and do a couple of those dip and drives, or just the dip. Do a couple of those dips with that empty bar or PVC pipe and really get into practice with driving your knees outward. That will change the game for your leg drive. Now, after you've got that down, really focus on your brace when you unrack. You should be bracing when you unrack the bar, because if you try to get a bigger brace after you already have the weight in your front rack position, you're gonna give it an inch and it's gonna take a foot. You lose that real estate, you're not getting it back, especially if it's something big and cumbersome like a log. I think it's raining and my windows are down. Windows were definitely down, but we're good now. Something big and cumbersome like a log, I saw this happen at nationals a lot. On a national level, I was seeing guys do this. Now, it was a max rep event, so fatigue is gonna set in and it's going to happen. When you're that tired, you need oxygen. And you're gonna sink a little bit and it's gonna compromise you, but that's just the game we play. But even off the bat, I was seeing guys leg drive and seeing that chest and elbows sink and kind of letting that log roll out front and they're fighting it to get back. I probably did a couple times after I got tired. People in a rush or a hurry instead of thinking about what they're doing. So whether you have an axle, a barbell, or a log, I really want you to focus on driving those elbows high, keeping them high. Because remember, the bar's not just gonna go straight up. The bar, you're gonna be driving aft towards the back of your head, right here. If you're wearing a backwards hat, that little bead on it, on the top. You know what I'm talking about, there's little things, if you put something on your head with a hat on, it hurts? Or is that just me? Okay. But I really want you guys to really make a conscious effort when you walk out. If you need to breathe again, if it's something like, say, 1 rep max, try and hit it on that first breath. Unrack, 1, 2, squeeze your butt, dip and drive, everything tight. Back's tight, everything. Packing your lats, just like you would on a bench press or anything else. If you have to breathe in between reps, I strongly suggest breathing at the top so you don't try and take that big gulping breath when it's on your chest, because you're gonna lose that real estate and not get it back. If you do have to breathe there, because it does happen, especially in rep fests like in nationals, it needs to be shallow, short breaths. So you can keep that tension in your core, in your chest, in your upper back. It does not all get put to the wayside and you lose it and can't get it back. But those are really the main things that come together in that front rack position with a push press: is your knees out, elbows high, proud chest, and driving to the back of your head. Now, some side cues would be the tight back and squeezing your butt when you walk out. Your posterior chain is a chain for a reason. It's all connected. But really focus on getting those elbows high and driving those knees out. That will be the start to keep you from sinking forward in the front rack position. I really hope this helps you guys, but this is pretty much all I got for you guys on this particular subject. It's pretty cut and dry and straightforward as far as cues go. It's very simple, it's straightforward. Think about the movements individually, check the boxes off as you get them. Reps, guys, reps will break it in, reps will get it to muscle memory. Before you know it, you won't even be thinking about it. So thank you so much for watching, but until the next time, y'all know what the deal is. Get out there, get after it, and embrace the suck.